Hey everybody, it's Daniel Bartley Jr., aka DBJ. Welcome to Be the Model. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. First time I looked into your eyes, I saw heaven, whoa, heaven in your eyes. Everything I did before you wasn't with my mind. See, whether you are the time, I'll do anything and everything to please you. You know how much I need you. You're always on my mind. You're more than wonderful, more than amazing, the irreplaceable love of my life. You're more than wonderful here in these arms tonight, the irreplaceable love of my life.
Nice. Today on Be the Model, we introduce award-winning composer and songwriter Daniel Bartley Jr. Welcome to episode 28 of Be the Model podcast. I'm your host, Teddy J. And today we have a very special guest, award-winning composer, songwriter, producer, the one and only Daniel Bartley Jr.
Hey, brother.
What's going on, bro?
Doing good.
How you doing?
Awesome, man. I can't complain.
All right, man. How was your ride down here?
Every time I get to drive down to Miami, it's a little trek, but it's beautiful. It's cool.
Okay, before we start off, let's see this outfit, man. Wow. You stand up for the model cam for us real quick, man. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So, go on and introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are and what is it exactly that you do.
Awesome. So, I am Daniel Bartley Jr., aka DBJ. I won't tell nobody. I'm an award-winning composer, singer, songwriter, producer, jack of all trades.
I was living that good life. Out with my boys in the club, one of them chill nights. In the crowd, hands up, vibing, yeah, I feel right. Spotted her in the corner, yeah, she fit right. Yeah, she look right.
Right now, trying to build a brand that encompasses love, unity, togetherness, and just changing the game a little bit when it comes to music and also entrepreneurship. I have a music production company called Elijah Moore Studios, where we do music for TV, commercials, artists, and also building my brand myself. I have a great team around me. My manager, Michael R. Crump, my lawyer, my creative director, and we're just growing and building slowly by slowly, trying to make the world a better place through music.
Get started? I mean, what inspired you?
Oh man, I'll never forget. I was really young. My dad's a pastor, and when we first came to Florida, there was a church in Bartley. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but the church was struck by Hurricane Andrew, so the church was kind of like halfway. It probably wasn't the best place to worship, right? Yeah. It was almost split down the middle. Okay. But anyways, during the church service, the band's playing, and I'm like, wow, that's probably like 7 at the time. And when the church service was over, I went up to the keyboard and I played the simple melody, one of the melodies. Now mind you, I never touched a keyboard before in my life, right? And I played one of the melodies. Just by listening to it, I played one of the melodies, and I knew from that point on,
that was it.
Yeah, that was
basically just gifted in it.
That's right. And from then, went to the Middle School of the Arts, High School of the Arts, studied at Florida Atlantic University Commercial Music, and I've been performing for years with bands. Opened up for different artists: Mario, David Banner, Ludacris. Played at venues like the Kravis Center, stuff like that. So, I've been in the game a little while. Now I think it's that next stage and taking my craft and my business to another level. You know what I mean? That's the point that I am now. And actually, that's a good segue into like what I'm doing now is working on an all-black orchestra. Right?
That's nice.
Yeah, it's called Excellence Symphony Orchestra, and we're currently in production creating the scores. It stemmed from a project that I worked on that I got the award for, called The Sweetest Girl. So I composed the music for the short film, and it's won several awards. It's keeping building momentum, and that's great. And so I thought, man, this project's great. I want to elaborate a little more on it, and I've never really seen an all-black orchestra, so why not redo it? So I have a co-composer working with me, Brandon Meerville. He's a freshman at UM, and he studies composition. So I had him build on the score that I already created. Yes. I had him build on it and elaborate on it, and then he's going to create a movement, and I'm going to create a separate movement myself. And so it's going to be a 3-movement piece that we're going to put together. Hopefully we drop that in November.
Okay, this coming November.
Correct.
And I know you spoke about your father, and you said when you guys came over. So what's the background? Where are you from?
Gotcha.
Where are your parents from originally?
Yeah, so originally I'm from Haiti. I was born in Haiti. I was raised here. When we first came here, we were bouncing all over the place up north. So I was like in Cincinnati, New York, New Jersey, Chicago, Boston. We were all over the place. We finally settled for about a year in Wisconsin, and then came down here. Probably came down here when I was like 6, 7 years old. Been here ever since, South Florida.
Okay. How old are you?
Right now, 34.
34. Okay. And basically, what type of music is it that you do?
So the music we do is
like the genre.
Primarily, it's R&B soul.
Okay.
I'd say a little bit alternative R&B, in the sense that like we'll do some of the more recent type stuff, like the trap stuff, whatever. But I'm leaning a lot more towards like acoustic instruments and really bringing back that soul and live instrumentation to the music. With my background, I'm primarily a musician at heart. So anytime I can have the opportunity to bring that into what I do, I always take the advantage to do that. As a matter of fact, right after this interview, I have a show in Riviera Beach. Nice. And I'm performing with a rapper by the name of King Khalid. We're going to be doing an all-acoustic set, background singers, drummer, bass player, keys, awesome. Everything.
Okay. And who's your favorite artist?
Wow, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Top 5 favorite artists.
Okay, I'd say top 5. I'd say Bruno Mars. I'd say Usher. 4 Top Temptations.
Okay.
I'd say. Dang, that's a tough one, bro. I'd say. John Williams.
Okay.
He does like some orchestra stuff, and Herbie Hancock.
And does any of them like inspire you? Did anyone really like inspire your music?
I'd say in a lot of ways, all of them do. I think we stand on the shoulders of those people who came before us, and that foundation that they laid is what helps us to become who we are, and definitely has helped me become who I am. I'll never say that I'm like a self-made man. It's a whole bunch of people that helped me to get to where I am. Correct.
Okay. And where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
In the next 10 years, I see my production company flourishing, doing, multiple movie projects, TV projects, working with multiple artists. One of the things that I'm starting to talk about with my manager is like artist development. That's one of the things that I started seeing kind of lacking in the field now. A lot of the field is, kind of the same stuff. And I think that piece, that artist development piece, is important to help bring out different sounds and, more whole and complete artists. I also see myself, touring, performing, just all around using all of my gifts and talents and being able to touch the world in a special way with them.
Okay, great. And if you could change one thing in the world right now, what would you change?
I would change the social dynamic and the racial inequality. I would change. I think socially, a lot of the times we're run by this capitalistic society where you're wealthy, you have money, that's all that matters, and everybody else doesn't matter. I think having more of an equal balance. Don't get me wrong, I'm a capitalist at heart, right? But at the same time, I come from this background where I come from a country of extreme poverty where it's not balanced, and I think there could be more balance in that way. Also, I would say in terms of racial equality, seeing that opportunity is more afforded. Not necessarily handouts, but more opportunity and access afforded to like our people, right? I think that's one of the biggest things that's lacking: access to capital, access to education, access to technology. I think those things, they open up for us. It opens up a whole new way, and it changes the world.
Exactly. Because like you mentioned, being poor versus being rich, the rich have way more opportunity to be seen, to be heard. You can be poor and be the best musician out there, but if you don't have the access, you don't have the way to broaden your horizons so everyone can hear what you got going on, you basically don't get heard.
That's right. I think we're very fortunate. Teddy, you and I are in a position where we're able to grow our brands and grow the things. We're living in a country to be able to do that, and we have access to certain things to be able to do that, while other people, they're just not fortunate to be born in a society that has that, or born into a situation that has that. So I think opening up that access is really important.
Good. So talking about success, what are your rules to success?
My rules and my road to success, it all boils down to, being patient, putting your head down and doing the actual work, not talking about it, but actually doing it.
Yeah, hard work.
And just never giving up. I have a blog that I did called How Dreams Come True, and something that I do like on IG now and then called Never Stop Believing, right? Okay. And I'm always trying to push that thought process of empowerment, of self-empowerment, of growth, of believing in yourself even when no one else believes in you, and just hustling and grinding and pounding it out. I found in my life, the more that I put my head down and I'm patient and I continue to create and to do things, the more opportunities abound and they open up for me.
Exactly. I think with everything, hard work is one of the big keys to success.
That's right.
A lot of people want to, basically be lazy. If you want, what you put into it is what you're going to get.
That's right.
With success, that's the way I feel as well.
That's right.
And did you face any struggles being a black man, being a Haitian black man? Did you go through any struggles coming up into the music where you are now?
That's interesting. That's a good question. I'm very fortunate in the sense that I was always raised in a situation where I saw my father being my biggest role model, come from nothing. Like I was there, I was young enough to remember when we was bouncing around house to house and stuff, and didn't really have a stable place. And to see us come down here and to see him, you know, as a pastor, not feel fulfilled financially, and to go in and late, like he's in his 40s, 50s, study real estate, study taxes, and now the guy's a millionaire, right? Just from, you know, putting his head down, working, figuring it out, finding different angle, different way. Anybody else could have just been, you know, content, you know what I mean? Just being what they knew, what they already knew or what they already done before, but he's always striving. So for me, I find it great that I have that role model, and I have that to be able to, you know, not necessarily feel those pressures of the color of my skin, but really focus more on, okay, the content of my character, and making sure that, okay, I have the knowledge base to do certain things. I think that most of the time in my experience, because of the talents that I bring to the table, whether it be my intellect or my creativity or my business acumen, because of those things shine above, you know, my skin color. And I haven't seen too much of that, you know. I know a lot of people who have, you know, and I feel sympathetic and empathetic to their plight. And I'm always an advocate for making sure that, you know, we can have better equity in those type of situations. But me personally, I've been fortunate in that, you know, I've had role models and different people in my life to kind of not only shield me from those things, but just because of the nature of how I was raised and the environment that I was in, to be able to be, you know, okay.
Great. So we see what's going on lately with violence, a lot of black on black violence, a lot of killing going on. What do you think is the cause of this, and how can we get our people to do better and focus more on success?
I think it's a matter of, well, it's like I said before, it's environmental, a lot of it, right? Like you're born into the situation you're born in. You didn't ask to be born into that situation. And I think if more access can be opened up within the community itself, like I think as a people, we got to work for self as well. Right? We can't just sit here and wait for a handout or whatever, but all of us got to look at one another and say, okay, what do we have as resources as a community? What can we put together to change the dynamic, to change the things that are going on? Hey, young brothers and sisters, we're killing each other in the streets. We got to stop doing it and find another way to divert that energy. Let's take that energy and divert it into business education, credit education. Let's see what we can do to pool our resources together to build different companies or to build different educational facilities, right? So I think if we can start thinking more productively and work as a community to build ourselves up first, I think outside access and different things can open up for us in the long term. But most importantly, I would say doing for self as much as possible and trying to uplift ourselves in the environments that we're in is what can take us to that next level.
Great. So what advice would you give any young aspiring artist who wants to follow in your footsteps?
I would say be hungry. Never stop believing. Never give up on yourself. It's a long road. You know, it's a road that till now, every step that I take, I realize there's more steps to go. And I think that keeping a good head on your shoulders and being focused and realizing that, okay, you're not going to get no handout from nobody. We're living in a world now where if you're looking to get a distribution deal, if you're looking to get a record deal, if you're looking to expand your brand and get, you know, sync deals or anything like that, you already have to have a proven model of success. That only comes from putting in the legwork, putting in the hard work of, you know, building a catalog, making sure that you have your performance acumen on place in the terms of, you know, studying the greats, right? Study study all the people that's come before you to be able to get to where you want to be. That's what you see, Bruno Mars and Usher, Chris Brown, all these people that you may know or see. That's what they've done. Yeah. There's nothing new under the sun, right? So they've taken things that have worked in the past and they just reconstruct it in a way that worked for them. So I would say these are the best steps that you can take. And then also, when you have the ability, always realize that you're not an island. You can't do things on your own. Yeah. I found my greatest success in collaboration and having a team. If you can get people around you that believe in your goals, believe in your vision, structure a good strategy, a good plan to execute on, you'll be successful for sure.
Great. That's great. And if you could go back and give your younger self advice on life, love, business, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say, to be honest, I really wouldn't change much. But one thing I might say is just like, don't think this is a short road, right? Understand that it's a long road and be more patient. So one of the things I used to do a lot is I would have my hands in so many things, right? Yeah. So if I would tell myself anything, hey, focus on just for these next 5 years, don't worry about anything, but focus on building a catalog and building your skill set, right? Spend a lot of time on that. Don't worry about nothing else. Then the next 5 years, everything else will flow. So I'd say, if anything, get more product. Get more product prepared so that later on you can be able to exploit that product.
Nice. And when we talk about legacy, what would you want your legacy, the legacy of Daniel Bartley Jr. to be?
Man, for me, I would love that, after everything is said and done and I'm gone, that everything that I built just continues to grow and continues to thrive and touch people in special ways. It's such a great thing to see, like, when basketball players pass, like Kobe Bryant passed, or, different artists pass, and you see their legacy still going on even after they're gone. You still hear artists' music after they're gone. I think it's a beautiful thing, and if I could leave that lasting impact, I think that would be amazing.
Wow. And where can we follow you, see your stuff? Basically, where can we find your music? Let us know.
Awesome. So, Daniel Bartley Jr., aka DBJ, you can find me DBJ Music, MUSIQ, on IG. Also, there's a link that you can get to get all my stuff. It's lnk.to/DBJ Music with a Q, right? So lnk.to/DBJ Music with a Q, and you can get everything.
Great. So that link right there will give us all your other links.
Correct.
Instagram,
TikTok, everything.
Music, TikTok, Spotify, all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay, great. And final question: what does be the model mean to you?
Be the model means to me, be the best, right? Be legendary. Be the top that you can be in whatever echelon or whatever thing that you're doing.
Be the top and be the best.
That's right.
All right, brother, man. Thanks for coming out here and joining us.
Man.
We appreciate it. Don't forget to follow the podcast on YouTube. Be the model. Hit the subscription button. Get all the notifications. Don't forget to check out Daniel Bartley Jr., all his music and all his platforms. What's the link again?
The link is lnk.to/DBJ Music with a Q.
All right, you guys got the link. Don't forget to be great, be outstanding, be unique, and most of all, be the model.